Hey now, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and Arrow's back. Yes, clearly I wasn't as excited. I'm not as excited as I was for The Flash, for example, because last seasons of Arrow, I was disappointed. To be honest, it sucked. And so I was going into this episode with a lot more reservation. Season 5, episode 1, entitled Legacy. At the very, very beginning, we see that Oliver Queen is in fact the mayor, which was always something that I thought was interesting. And I'm glad that they're going through with it. Of course, he's also being Green Arrow. You see him at the very beginning taking down the villain Anarchy, who... I guess it was cool that they used him and it was the same actor and whatnot. I just think that they're not really doing a whole lot with the character. Like, I think they could have used him better, should be using him better. Hopefully this isn't the last time that we're seeing him. But you see that this other vigilante has been sort of following Green Arrow and I guess wants to help out, wants to join the team. He's called Wild Dog. Yeah, please change that name. Not gonna work. But Oliver is against this. He shoots him in the leg, kind of like he did Roy Harper all the way back in, was that season 1? But his current team, at least as far as back at the headquarters, we see Felicity and Curtis. So they're his right-hand people, his computer people for the most part. But he doesn't want anybody out there on the field with him. Not unless it's Thea or Diggle. But they're not here. Oliver goes off to find Quentin Lance, who is off somewhere on his own. Him and Felicity's mom broke up. Thankfully, to be honest, Felicity's mom, just like Felicity, was getting on my nerves last season. And as much as I wanted Lance to be happy, find happiness, to find a new woman, I just... be done with her. And Lance does come back because you see that the city was holding like a ceremony to honor Laurel Lance, the Black Canary, which was fine. It was nice. You saw the statue that very much reminded me of The Dark Knight Rises at the end with Batman's statue and whatnot. But you get to kind of the main plot of the episode. We see these corrupted cops who are quickly killed by a character named Tobias Church. And he is played by Tyrese from The Walking Dead. And okay, he's a gangster. He's a guy who's coming into city to city, territory to territory, and he's basically taking over. Slowly, he's infiltrating all of these mob gangs and just taking over. I'm intrigued by the character and his plot and how he now wants to take out the big dog in the city, which is Green Arrow. I mean, stopping anybody from stopping him. But the only issue is that this actor, as much as I love The Walking Dead, as much as I try to love the Tyrese character, I just don't know if I'm really into this actor. He's a little over the top, a little cheesy with the way how he's delivering his lines. And I'm like, tone it back a little bit, play it a little bit more straight, be a little bit more intimidating. Now, at the ceremony for Black Canary, which I thought would be a great moment, although I'm still pissed that they killed her off, but fine, they're honoring her, and then this group just shows up and pretty easily kidnaps the mayor. Okay, and Oliver has to sort of concede because he can't reveal that he can kick all of their asses and that he's the Green Arrow. So he's taken by them, and Thea, again, she doesn't want to be a vigilante anymore. She doesn't want to be the Red Arrow. She doesn't want to ever come to a point where she can come close to killing again because she wants to be normal. And I appreciated this with Thea. I understood this. I got it. She came from the pit and it messed up her mind and she had this bloodlust and now it's virtually gone. Now Oliver, while he was tied up and being beaten up by this guy, he used a cool technique to get out of the ropes, which was connected to the flashbacks, which I liked a lot, but I'll get to the flashbacks in a minute. And Oliver took this guy down and broke his neck, killed this guy. I mean, we haven't seen him do stuff like this since season 1, maybe some of season 2, but definitely season 1, Green Arrow was a killer. And he really wasn't apologizing over it. So seeing him go back to that was shocking, surprising, not in a bad way. If this was Batman, Bruce Wayne, yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck, you can't do that. But Green Arrow, he's a character who I appreciated the no killing rule, but I don't think he has to be committed to the rule. I understood him when he said to Thea, look, what happened to Laurel, like, I need to change things up. I need to make sure that nothing like that ever happens again, that he kind of blames himself over it, that he didn't take it harder, and I got it. I did, but I also understood Thea saying, look, this is too far for me. I was almost about to come back, but if you're going to kill people, then I really can't come back, and she took off. Again, I'm understanding each and every one of these people's points of views. They don't feel like foreign characters like they did last season. So far, so good. Quentin Lance is somehow able to convince Oliver, if you don't want to work with vigilantes, let's get a bunch of cops with you. And they go in there to save these hostages. I thought this was really cool, really different, maybe a little weird, but still, it was cool to see them go in there, and Oliver had this cool fight with Tobias, and he had this really awesome moment where they were going hand to hand, and then he knocks him back, and Tobias is up against like the wall, and Oliver shoots an arrow at him, but it hits the wall and it like explodes, and Tobias goes flying back. Just the way it was shot and the way how it was choreographed, it was pretty great. It was awesome. A lot of cool stunts going on there. And then you see Tobias taking off in the helicopter, and Oliver is able to arrow onto it. Again, it felt like Batman. He was swinging from the helicopter. He gets on there, starts taking people out. They knock him off, and he's falling and falling, and I'm like, okay, how's he going to get out of this? He shoots an arrow into the air, and the arrow becomes a parachute. Now, was it goofy? Yes. Was it silly and almost out of, not character, but out of tone? Yeah, but it's, if you know the comic books, if you know that Oliver has an arrow for virtually anything and everything, I went with it. Now Curtis, earlier in the episode, he went out to look for this wild dog because I guess him and Felicity behind Oliver's back were going to go recruit people anyways. Maybe I could complain about that because that's what Felicity does very well, is do things behind Oliver's back. But Curtis, while he was out there, gets jumped and beat up by a couple of guys, comes back, his face is all messed up, and he's pissed. Understandable. But what he says to Oliver, I will tell you the details of what happened to me only if you let me join the team, the group, recruit him. And like, he was already a part of the team per se, but he's now talking about being a crime fighter. Now, I know that the character itself is from the comics and that he is a superhero of sorts. He does get in costume and whatnot. I know, technically I kind of saw this coming. Just the scene itself of him saying, I want to become a hero, train me, like, it just came out of nowhere. Like, what? Curtis? And what, because you got beat up by a couple of guys, now you want to be a crime fighter? And Oliver saying, okay, that was weird. It was weird. But we had a nice moment, a good moment, of Diggle talking to Oliver, because Oliver called Diggle on the phone, left him a message, and Diggle got back to him. And they were talking. Not face to face. It was through video because Diggle is seemingly back in the military. He's overseas. He's nowhere in town. And this is, I was shocked. Why did we do this? Did we do this because the actor had to leave, or because the show didn't feel like they knew what to do with the character anymore? If that's true, then that sucks, because Diggle was one of my favorite characters on the show. He was. I hope this isn't permanent. I don't, because he basically gave Oliver the okay to make a new team, to do it. He gave him the go-ahead. So we find out, in almost a cliffhanger of sorts, that Felicity, who mind you, is living in the same apartment that used to be Thea's, but then became Oliver's because, I don't know, he paid for it, and he, I think, is still paying for it. Felicity is living there, and she's dating another guy in the same apartment. Now, I'll get away from the whole apartment thing. I know, it's just weird. But she's dating another guy. Who cares? Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be upset that, oh no, she's dating another guy, so that means her and Oliver can't be together. I'm saying good. I'm glad she's dating another guy. Good. I just don't care to even see it. I don't want to see scenes of her and this guy who was like one of the detectives. I just don't care. I don't care. before I go any further, I forgot to mention that they showed a flashback of sorts of Laurel. Right before Laurel died, she told Oliver like a secret, and they built it up as what did she say to him. I assumed it was maybe that she loved him, but we did hear her say that. What it ultimately was, we see here, is that she told him, now I have trouble buying this. She told him to not let me be the last Black Canary. Because if somebody else is Black Canary and a part of the group, then she gets to be a part of him forever or some bullshit. Okay, that was really underwhelming. Like, you made me wait a whole season to hear what she said to him, and that's what she said. I just don't buy her saying that. I don't buy her saying, hey, you know the Black Canary character that was first my sister, Sarah, but then when she died, I inherited it. So it's kind of like in our family thing. Let somebody else become the Black Canary, because I would say that because I know I'm about to die. Like, did she know she was going to die? Because it seemed like her death was spontaneous and just happened out of nowhere. But apparently she knew she was going to die, and she made Oliver promise to let somebody else be the Black Canary. I'm sorry, that's stupid. It's stupid, it's stupid. That's just them trying to let us, the fans, be okay with the fact that they're probably going to get that 15, 16-year-old girl to be the Black Canary, and we're supposed to be okay with it. I'm not. And at the end, we see the Black Arrow, who I thought was Malcolm Merlyn in the first season, but I guess this is another guy in a Black Arrow outfit, and he had viciously attacked a cop. Okay, I'm curious. I'm interested to see this villain, see more about him. Last thing I want to mention, though, is the flashbacks. The flashbacks I was not kind to last season. I didn't even like the flashbacks in season 3 because ever since they left the island and last season with the magic mystical stuff, I was just like, who cares? Who cares about this? Seeing him in Russia, I guess, was expected. They teased that he might have gone to Russia at some point. Even since season 1, they've talked about this. So seeing him there, he's doing like a Fight Club thing over there, and seeing him get involved and meet for the first time Anatoly, who, again, season 1, I like that's there, that they're going back to it. I just don't know if I care to see him outside of the island. I don't know. Remember in season 1 or in the pilot when he came back home and he was sleeping in his room, but he had to sleep next to the window with the window open and the rain was like on him, and that was the only way that he felt comfortable sleeping because he had supposedly been doing that for 5 years, being out in the middle of an island and outside. But now it's just like, well, he's been in Japan, he's now been in Russia, he's probably going to be in Africa or any other country eventually. Oh well. I sound like I'm complaining. I sound like I'm like ranting. No, I actually really enjoyed this episode. I did. I enjoyed a lot of the action. I enjoyed the characters a lot more than I think I've ever have since in a while. And I enjoyed seeing where this show might go. It's season 5. It's been 5 years since I've been watching the show. Clearly, I have an attachment, an investment. Whenever I complain, it's because I care too much. It really is. I'm not being this nitpicker. I'm not being this asshole guy because it's easy to do that. No, it's just because I care and I want the show to be better. So hopefully that happens this season. Some dumb things, sure, but overall, I would say a good step in the right direction. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Season 5, Episode 1, Legacy? Did you like it? Did you love it? Or did you still not like it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!